Are you aware how fruits grow? What do you call that tough shell on your toe? These are some things you should probably know. Another damn trivia show.
Money, 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 I want some.
I want some money.
Money, 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 counting money is fun.
Got to have some money.
Money, 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 I want some.
Give me some money.
Money, 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 counting money is fun.
Give me some money.
Before we get to this week's quiz, I thought we'd warm up with a free question. No pressure, just a chance to limber up the old brain muscles. How many coins are there in regular US currency less than $1? The answer is 5. The penny, the nickel, the dime, the quarter, and the half-dollar. I don't really know how often the half-dollar gets used, but it's out there in circulation, so it counts. Fun fact, if you happen to have one of each of these coins, you'd have 91 cents. Why is that a fun fact and not simply pretty boring addition? Because this happens to be episode 91 of Another Damn Trivia Show on Pod Bros and the Wicked Radio Network. If you listened to last week's show, and why wouldn't you? If you didn't, shame on you. Turn this off, go listen to last week's show. Hell, go download the whole Another Damn Trivia Show library. You can do it on iTunes. It's awesome. It's a lot of trivia for your brain. Anyway, if you listen to last week's episode, you remember the CanCon category. The category about Canadian music. Well, that had been a suggestion from the fine folks over at Pencil and Ink Reviews, a podcast on the Pod Bros Network. I asked them, how'd you guys do on the category you yourself requested? Here's what they said. Perfect score! We love Canadian musicians! Also perfect on the chick flick category. Guess we also love chick flicks? Question mark? I don't know why there's a question mark. You either do or you don't. You knew them well enough to get a perfect score. So own it, brothers. Just love it and embrace it. You like chick flicks, that's fine, nothing wrong with that. And you like Canadian music, definitely nothing wrong with that. So, go check out those chick flick loving folks over at Pencil Ink Reviews. You can find them at Pencil and Ink 1. So go do that. Now, I was looking online. I sometimes will just type in Another Damn Trivia Show into Google to see what comes up. Usually it's things I've put up, like the YouTube channel or iTunes or Stitcher or the Wicked Radio Network or Pod Bros or whatever, places where you can find the show. But I found a review, and I'm like, oh my god, someone reviewed my show without it being like a buddy of mine? That's awesome! No, they didn't. That's not what happened at all. This was a review for No Such Thing as Fish. No Such Thing as a Fish by Mark Hershen. Mark Hershen is the guy who reviewed it, not the person who makes the podcast. But still, it was interesting because listen to this. So this was in the Huffington Post, so I was pretty pumped about that. I believe it was picked up there. I don't think it was originally posted there, but anyway. Here it is. Podcast review, No Such Thing as a Fish. One could have perhaps predicted the glut of pop culture-oriented podcasts that have sprung up. Hell, it is a linchpin for the recently launched Wolf Pop network of shows. Less understandable, at least to me, is the rise of the trivia-oriented podcast. I don't know why that's less understandable. Trivia's awesome. Anyway. Especially trivia and comedy, he goes on to say. There's Good Job Brain, NPR's Ask Me Another, and Another Damn Trivia Show. What? I got listed in the same breath as Good Job Brain and NPR's Ask Me Another. That's awesome. Now, it may just be because he looked up trivia shows and thought, the title Another Damn Trivia Show fits for the flow of this article. Well, I don't care. There you go. So thank you, Mark Hershen, and thank you, Huffington Post, and all that great stuff for mentioning me in the same breath as some amazing trivia podcasts. Good Job Brain is hugely popular. It makes number 1 on most trivia podcast lists. And NPR's Ask Me Another, my personal favorite trivia show other than my own. So I was pretty proud about that. And with that, we're going to move on to the questions, because I'm not a trivia show if I don't give you questions. This week, like last week, I asked a couple hosts from shows from the 2 networks I'm affiliated with to give me category ideas. So this week we'll be hearing from Shasta. She is co-host of the Beaver Exhibit on the Wicked Radio Network. We'll also be hearing from Dave the Nerd, who can be found at Rev_Draven, and he is the host of Dave's Nerd Compendium, which is on Podbros. So both those people have given me category ideas, and we'll hear about that when their categories come up. But we can't do that till we get to the categories, so let's do that. Oh, wait! You're also going to get a guest brain today. So, sweet candy. Just a plethora of help coming in from the outside world for this podcast. But anyway, let's move on to the questions. Category 1 is It All Adds Up. Just like the addition of all the US coins equals 91, which happens to be the number of this episode, these answers will be the answers you get when you add things up. Alright? So here we go. Question 1. How much money would you have if you had one of each of the 6 coins in Canadian currency? Alright, so there you go. I've told you there's 6 coins. If you have one of each, how much will you have? Question 2. How many games minimum must an NHL team win throughout the entire playoffs to eventually win the Stanley Cup? So not just the Stanley Cup playoffs, but the entire playoff series, all of them. How many games do you have to win to eventually get the Stanley Cup? Minimum. Question 3. How many countries would you visit if you went to every fully recognized country in Africa? Hint, there was a past episode of this show that you could listen to that would give you that answer. Can't tell you which episode though, because that would give you the answer. Question 4. How many Olympic Games, winter and summer, have been held in the US between 1980 and 2014? Take a second for that one. You have to go and remember where they've all been held and which ones were in what countries. You may want to pause. I'm not going to pause. I'm going to keep going. Question 5. How many movies have won all of the Big 5 Academy Awards? And in case you didn't know, those are the Best Picture, the Best Director, the Best Actor, the Best Actress, and the Best Screenplay, either adapted or original. So, how many movies have won all 5? Not just nominated for all 5, won all 5. And that's it for It All Adds Up. And takes us to category number 2. If That's Your Real Name, which is the category that comes from Dave the Nerd, at RevDraven, from Dave's Nerd Compendium. This was his suggestion, so thank you very much, Dave. And I hope you get 5 out of 5 on this category. You'll have to let me know. So, I'm going to give you a person's birth name. You tell me the name they are more commonly known by now. Alright, these are all celebrities of some sort. Alright, here we go. Question 1. Norma Jean Mortensen. Norma Jean Mortensen. What name is she more famous for? Question 2. Brian Hugh Warner. Brian Hugh Warner. Question 3. Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay. I don't know why I'm saying things like that. Question 4. Samuel Langhorne Clemens. Old Samuel Clemens. Better known as whom? And finally, Richard Bachman. Richard Bachman. And that does it for If That's Your Real Name. Thank you once again, Dave the Nerd from Dave's Nerd Compendium on the Podbros Network. Go check him out. And that brings us to our third and final category of regular play here this week. And that is Robert Downey Jr.'s IMDb page. And this was suggested to me from Ms. Shasta from the Beaver Exhibit over on the Wicked Radio Network. So thank you very much, Shasta. She wants to know more about, or wants to prove how much she does know about Robert Downey Jr. How much do you know? Let's find out. I'm going to read you the plot descriptions found on IMDb for various Robert Downey Jr. movies. You tell me the movie. Alright, here we go. Question 1. A San Francisco cartoonist becomes an amateur detective obsessed with tracking down a famous serial killer. Question 2. Through a series of freak occurrences, a group of actors shooting a big-budget war movie are forced to become the soldiers they're portraying. Question 3. A murder mystery brings together a private eye, a struggling actress, and a thief masquerading as an actor. Question 4. A detective and his stalwart partner engage in a battle of wits and brawn with a nemesis whose plot is a threat to all of England. And finally, question 5. High-strung father-to-be Peter Hyman is forced to hitch a ride with aspiring actor Ethan Tremblay on a road trip in order to make it to his child's birth on time. Now, if I were in your shoes, I might just guess Iron Man for all of them. But none of these are Iron Man, or the Avengers, or Iron Man 2, or Iron Man 3, or any of the movies like The Hulk, where he does an uncredited cameo at the end. Just saying, none of those. It's not a Marvel. None of these are Marvel movies. Too easy. Too easy. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Those are your 3 categories of regular play. But you still got another category coming. It's just going to be a guess brain. So let's get to that right now. Here we go with the music.
Guess brain. What you got behind the pretty black eyes? Guess brain. Come take a shot at that 5 out of 5. Today we got ourselves a guess brain. It's time to see what you know. We're gonna pick that guess brain on another damn trivia show.
As promised, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with our guest brain segment, and I have a very special guest, a colleague of mine, who's guaranteed to do really well because we're right in his wheelhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my good friend, Matt. Say hello.
Hello. Nice to be here, Brunage. Thanks for inviting me. I'm not sure about the guaranteed to do well part, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, so as a little bit of history, Matt is not only a teacher at the same school that I work at, but he's also in the office that I'm in, and at lunch we often do, what?
It's trivia lunch.
Trivia lunch, and Matt is one of the people that everyone hates because he answers the questions before I finish asking the questions.
Until today.
We'll see. So, the rule is, as always, that the guest brain gets to pick the topic. So, Matt asks for something Shakespearean because you teach.
I asked for thermonuclear physics, Brunage. What do you mean Shakespearean?
Okay, I don't know thermonuclear physics, so you got Shakespeare.
All right, I'll settle for Shakespeare. Fair enough.
All right. In fact, we are recording live from your classroom, and I see plenty of Shakespeare stuff all over the wall.
Wait, this is live?
Well, live recorded. Recording live.
Okay.
So opposite. Not live at all.
Sounds good.
Not live. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Matt is, in fact, full disclosure, an English teacher, a very good English teacher, and a Shakespearean fan? Shakespeare fan?
A fan.
A fan of the Bard. You like the Bard. I'm sorry. So this topic is going to combine Shakespeare and pulp culture. It's called Based on the Bard, and I'm going to describe some plots to movies that have taken either their entire plot or elements of their plot from famous Shakespearean plays, and Matt is going to have to tell me, as are you, the audience, what Shakespeare play the plot points were taken from.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so here we go. Question number 1. Remember, you don't answer them out loud at first. We wait till we get through all 5. Here we go. Question 1. She's the Man sees Amanda Bynes pretending to be a boy so she can play on the boys' soccer team, but falls in love with her roommate. The trouble is, he thinks she's a boy. What Shakespearean comedy is this plot taken from?
I'm not answering yet.
Not yet.
Right?
No, you're just right now. You're just right now. The
Okay.
answer. You just have to tell me when you're good.
All right, I'm good.
All right. Excellent. Question number 2. With Lion King, Disney dabbles with a little bit of borrowing from the Bard. A king is murdered by his brother, the spirit of the dead king visits his son, and a prince abroad returns to avenge his father's death. What Shakespearean tragedy has these same plot points?
Okay.
So it's a pretty big one. It's a famous one.
All right.
If you don't get this one, I think you can't teach English anymore. At least not this play.
Dr. Zhivago?
That's exactly right. Yeah. Dr. Zhivago is a Shakespeare play. Correct. Question 3. West Side Story's battle between the Jets and Sharks and Tony and Maria's Forbidden Love is a direct retelling of what Shakespearean love story?
Okay. I shouldn't be teaching grade 10 if I don't get this one.
Exactly. Most people will know this one. This one literally was a direct retelling. It wasn't, what do you know? We have some similar plot points. This was fairly dead on. Question 4. Even South Park uses Shakespeare. One of their episodes is titled, Something Walmart This Way Comes. Now, I'm sure that was meant to be a social commentary in some way, but it's also a quote parodied from a famous quote in Shakespeare. What play uses the famous quote? And I will tell you the actual quote. It is borrowed from Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Okay.
So what Shakespeare play uses that quote?
Okay.
And you good?
Yeah, but these in descending order of difficulty? Or
No,
is this
it's just whatever,
Okay.
however it pops into my brain.
Got it.
And finally, question 5. Mekhi Phifer, Julia Stiles, and Josh Hartnett star in a film about a black basketball star who is dating the dean's daughter. She happens to be white. And his best friend is actually plotting against our star by putting seeds of doubt about the faithfulness of his girlfriend in his mind. What Shakespearean tragedy is this directly borrowed from?
Okay.
Good?
Good. I think I got it.
So no problem, right?
Well, we'll see. I haven't seen that one, but I could take a guess.
All right, so let's find out how you did, and we'll find out how the audience did as well if they choose to tweet me and tell me how they did. All right, so question 1, Amanda Bynes, dressing up as a boy, love with her roommate, has to flash him to prove that she's in fact a girl. What Shakespearean comedy was that borrowed from?
Well, I'm going to go with Twelfth Night. And that
Is correct. Very good. I was worried. That was the one I was worried about because there's a lot of Shakespeare where girls dress up like boys and confuse other boys and then fall in love with the boys and have to.
That could be potentially maybe a third of the play.
Yeah, As You Like It, I think, has a famous scene.
Yes, it does.
Where the girl is a boy and is trying to convince the other boy how to ask her out, so she pretends to be herself.
Exactly.
So he can practice.
Merchant of Venice as well. Portia dresses up.
That's right. Like the judge.
For the court scene.
I'm not sure I would call that one a comedy though.
Well, it's one of those.
Nothing's funnier than anti-Semitism.
Yeah, correct.
All right, sorry. So question 2, The Lion King. We got brother killing brother and ghosts and sorry everyone.
Mr. Lizette, can you please contact the guidance office? Mr. Lizette?
That proves that we really are in a
That's
school.
right. Yeah. We'll see if I cut that part out. Sorry. So Dead King and ghosts and returning and prodigal sons. What's that from?
Well, if it isn't Dr. Zhivago, it's got to be Hamlet.
Correct. That is Hamlet. And again, I don't know how faithful they were, if they were ever trying to be. It's a fairly famous sort of plot. But
Have you seen it?
Have I seen Lion King?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Who are you talking to? Of course I've seen Lion King. All right. West Side Story based on what?
West Side Story is based on Romeo and Juliet.
That is correct. Star-crossed lovers and Montagues and Capulets being played by Jets and Sharks. And Something Wicked This Way Comes, which was parodied into Something Walmart This Way Comes by South Park. What play originally gave that quote, Something Wicked This Way Comes?
That's the Scottish play.
That is the
AKA
Scottish
Macbeth.
play. That is right. It was a poster right here, right up there, of it. And it looks sketchy because everyone on the poster looks dead except Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, but they bite it.
You'll have to take our word for it.
Yep. All right. And finally, Mekhi Phifer, Julia Stiles, and Josh Hartnett. Black basketball player, white, dean's daughter, evil friend, conniving.
Got to be Othello.
And that is correct. That is Othello. So boom, 5 out of 5. Well done, Matt. See, I knew you were going to get 5 out of 5. And if you didn't, again, you were fired. So, how was that? Did you have fun?
That was awesome.
Excellent.
Can I get an invite back to do a guest segment?
Absolutely, dude. Anytime you want, you are more than welcome.
All
right, so that's it. We're done.
Thanks, Brandon. Joe's off.
Gas brain, 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 gas brain.
If you'd like to share your score, suggest a category, or be a guest brain, you can tweet at @O_Brundage or at @thereal_ADTS. Matt would love to hear from you. Between you and me, he gets kind of lonely sometimes and would love any chatter tossed his way. Now where was I? Another Damn Trivia Show can be found all over the internet. Check out iTunes, Stitcher, TalkShoe, Radio Fubar, or head over to the Pod Bros and the Wicked Radio Network, all great places to satisfy your podcasting needs. This concludes our public service announcement. Now on with the show.
Answers. Who's got the answers? I got the answers. Gonna share the answers with you. So let's get to it now. Our first category was It All Adds Up. Question 1, the answer was $3.90. That's how much you'd have if you had one of each Canadian coin. We've got the nickel, no penny anymore. Penny, no longer circulated. Costs more than a penny to make it, and that's just bad business. So, we got the nickel, the dime, the quarter, like the US, a rarely used 50-cent piece, a dollar coin called the loonie, and a $2 coin called the toonie. So $3.90. How many games minimum must an NHL team win throughout the entire playoffs? Why, that is 16, because there is 3 rounds before you get to the Stanley Cup playoffs, then the Stanley Cup playoffs, 4 rounds, 4 games minimum each, that's 16. There are 54 recognized countries in Africa. There have been 4 Olympic Games held in the US since 1980. Those were Lake Placid in 1980, LA in 1984, Atlanta in 1996, and Salt Lake City in 2002. As far as the movies that have won all 5 of the Big 5 Academy Awards, the answer is 3. The movies were It Happened One Night, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Silence of the Lambs. So your answer was 3. So all your answers for it all adds up were $3.90, 16, 54, 4, and 3. That brings us to If That's Your Real Name, the category brought to us by Dave the Nerd at Rev Draven, Dave's Nerd Compendium. Go check it out, Pod Bros Network. Whee! Here we go. Norma Jean Mortensen is better. Norma Jean Mortensen is better known as Marilyn Monroe. Brian Hugh Warner is better known as Marilyn Manson. Cassius Clay is better known as Muhammad Ali. Oh, so pretty. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. If you didn't know that question, then you don't know me. Ooh. Sorry. Samuel Leghorn Clemens was Mark Twain, and Richard Bachman was a pen name for Stephen King, created because he wanted to write more than one book a year, but did not want to water down the Stephen King brand. So he picked a fake name, and then there was like this huge article about like a guy figured it out, and was going to reveal this, and then there was like a battle between the Bachman and King, and it was all this weird kind of meta stuff. It was kind of interesting, but anyway, Stephen King is your answer there. We go to Robert Downey Jr.'s IMDb page, brought to you by Shasta and the Beaver Exhibit, and the answers were Zodiac, Tropic Thunder, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Sherlock Holmes, and Due Date. So those are your answers for the Robert Downey Jr. IMDb page. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it, because you already got the answers to Based on the Bard during the Guest Brain segment. So you now have received all 20 answers. How did you do? Please let me know. You can do that by tweeting me. You heard Sexy Australian Accent Girl telling you how to tweet me, how to get a hold of me. Let me know your score so I can shout you out on the show. So do that. Do what the Aussie girl said. Because, why wouldn't you? But anyway, I digress. Allow me to end the show with a little bit of advice, as I always do. Start paying for more stuff in coins rather than bills. Yeah, I know it's harder in your pocket to walk around with a bunch of jingling change. It gets heavy, and if you're not wearing a belt, your pants may fall down, but there's something really satisfying about just tossing a handful of coins down on a counter to pay for something. It harkens back to the medieval times, feudal days, where you paid with things with gold coins. Right? You just had satchels of money. You're like, here. That's a good idea. You should do that more often. It's so you get to hear that change. Just
another damn trivia show. Oh, well, that brings us to the end of another damn trivia show. You're a tad bit wiser, a little bit smarter now. You're welcome, here you go. Just so you know, nothing wrong with being a geek. It's a flash fact like Superman ain't weak, or Batman is Bruce Wayne. That don't change, it don't hurt to have a little something extra in your brain. Remember, this is an important lesson. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Maybe there are stupid answers, but they're a lot funnier to hear, so that don't matter. Now come on back for another damn trivia show. But before I go, I just want to say peace before we part. Until next week, have a great day, stay smart. Damn trivia show. There was another damn trivia show. That was the end of another damn trivia show. There was another damn trivia show.